Have you ever wondered why some people never seem to grow up, even though they are adults? Maybe you are dealing with an immature person. In this video, you will discover the hidden signs that reveal emotional immaturity. Stay until the end because the last sign will surprise you. Welcome to the mental family. Today, we are talking about a topic that concerns many of us: emotional immaturity. We often find ourselves relating to people who, despite their age, display behaviors typical of those who have never truly matured. But how can we recognize these signals? Identifying an immature person is essential to protect ourselves from toxic relationships and knowing when and how to intervene. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Make sure you stick around until the end, because the last sign I'm going to show you might open your eyes to a reality you may never have considered. 1. Lack of accountability. The first sign of immaturity that we analyze concerns the chronic difficulty in taking responsibility for one's actions. Immature people tend to blame others for their failures or mistakes. Whenever something goes wrong, they always find someone to blame, be it their partner, a co-worker, or even life circumstances. They never admit they were wrong and don't commit to fixing the problems they created. This behavior can manifest itself in subtle ways, through constant complaining or victimization. The immature person can also manipulate those around them, playing on their emotions to avoid facing the consequences of their choices. Lack of accountability is often accompanied by an inability to learn from mistakes, leading to a repetitive cycle of failure and blame. This is one of the main signs of emotional immaturity, since personal growth requires the ability to recognize one's mistakes, accept criticism, and work on oneself. 2. Inability to manage emotions. Another indicator of immaturity is the inability to adequately manage one's emotions. An immature person may overreact or disproportionately to situations that an emotionally mature person would be able to handle more calmly. This may include outbursts of anger, sudden bursts of crying, passive-aggressive behavior, or moments of punishing silence. Immature people, in fact, have not developed the capacity for emotional self-regulation. They are often unable to express their feelings in a healthy and constructive way. Instead of talking openly about their feelings, they prefer to create unnecessary drama or manipulate situations to get attention. Additionally, they may have difficulty understanding the emotions of others and tend to react selfishly when faced with emotional conflict. A mature person, on the other hand, recognizes and accepts his or her emotions, knows how to channel and manage them, and is able to communicate openly without resorting to destructive behaviors. 3. Excessive dependence on others. Immaturity often manifests itself through a strong dependence on others. This dependence can be emotional, economic, or even psychological. Immature people tend to constantly seek external approval and confirmation, as they have not developed a solid sense of self. They lean emotionally on partners, friends, or family, placing the weight of their insecurities and fragilities on them. This type of relationship can become extremely unbalanced and toxic, as the immature person cannot support themselves autonomously. For example, they may demand affection, attention, or financial support without giving anything in return. In romantic relationships, this often translates into unhealthy attachment, which stifles the partner's growth and compromises the relationship itself. Emotional independence and the ability to take care of oneself are instead hallmarks of emotional maturity. 4. Refusal of change. One of the most common traits of immature people is their resistance to change. Whether it's accepting new ideas, adapting to new situations, or improving themselves, immature people prefer to stay in their comfort zone. This behavior may be rooted in fear of failure, judgment, or uncertainty. As a result, the immature tend to avoid any form of change, even when it is necessary for their well-being. Their attachment to the past or present can block their personal and professional growth, preventing them from progressing. Furthermore, this resistance to change often makes them unable to solve complex problems or adapt to new and unpredictable situations. Being open to change is one of the keys to emotional maturity. Mature people know that change is inevitable, and they approach it with flexibility and open-mindedness. Do you recognize yourself in these signs, or do you recognize them in someone you know? Leave us a comment below and share your experience. Before revealing the last sign, which is perhaps the most important if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. 5. Selfishness and lack of empathy. The last signal I want to explore is perhaps the most difficult to tolerate in interpersonal relationships: selfishness and lack of empathy. Immature people tend to be deeply self-absorbed, ignoring or minimizing the needs and feelings of others. This selfishness can manifest itself in different contexts: at work, where they try to get the maximum benefit without worrying about others; in friendships, where they expect continuous support without ever giving back; or in romantic relationships, where they always put their own desires above those of their partner. Lack of empathy is a hallmark of emotional immaturity, because a mature person is able to put themselves in other people's shoes, listen, and understand their point of view. The immature, on the contrary, is often incapable of taking this step because they are too focused on their own needs and concerns. Lack of empathy can make it very difficult to build authentic and lasting relationships, as the immature person is unable to connect emotionally with those around them. If you have noticed one or more of these signs in someone close to you, it is important to acknowledge them and understand how to handle the situation. Emotional immaturity can create very complex relationships, but with the right strategies, we can learn to protect our psychological well-being. If you want to learn more about other topics related to personal growth, don't forget to leave a like and follow us. See you next time.